can I please put for the record, these guys are really wonderful. They're a part of my life, my youth, and to see them play is an absolute joy. The Blockheads are wonderful people. I'm going to go now. Oh yeah, and my name is Dave Benson Phillips, and I was a young man, and before I went into the vagaries of live television and entertaining people, these were the guys that I watched. Thank you for being a huge inspiration.
Wow. How about that then, Mark?
Firstly, why do you think a festival like Let's Rock is so important for people now and so relevant still?
Well, we find that the Blockhead fans from 77 till about 82 or something, and now have children of their own, and they bring their kids to these kind of festivals. So we play to a wide audience of like people that like rock and funk, pop music if you like. But so we've got a broad spectrum of fans that now bring their children who are like your age.
So it just like grows.
It just grows.
It's just growing. Yeah. Okay. Great.
And you can still get our records, can't you? You can still see us on YouTube.
Yeah.
And everything. So they show their kids, this is what I was into when I was your age.
We were very lucky because, we started in a time when there was a forum for live music. There were a lot of small pubs, where we played at, and there were a lot more gigs for young bands. And I think that's why it was such a sort of fruitful period, and a lot of 70s acts, a lot of 80s acts. I don't know if there's the same opportunities for people these days. They tend to be sort of like shoehorned into current genres, and they don't. And your record labels want you to sound like the last act that they signed or that's been successful. I think there's a lot of that going on. We didn't even have genres back in our day. Fortunately, our lead singer Ian Dury didn't even know what they were really, and if a song needed a bit of a country background, we'd put that in. If it needed, something a bit more raucous, it was all about that. And I think that's what the audiences love today, in a way, is that it was much freer. And I think that's why they come to these gigs, is because it's so anti-corporate. It's the opposite.
Yeah. And also, when we were, newly formed, there was guitars and basses and drums. There wasn't really that many sort of posh electronic things coming up, but we were there at the vanguard of that. And Chaz got, Oberheim
synthesizers,
things that did magic tricks and everything, which we eventually started using on the records. Which are now in everybody's living room. They've got a computer and a keyboard that does absolutely every sound in the world. To them, it's listed common, but to us it was really exciting time. It was innovative. We had fuzz boxes and things for guitars, but we didn't have any keyboard sounds that were like magic, and they were all coming online then. It was great.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like, especially listening to, because your music's like varied, very varied, but I feel like you'd almost fit into music now, music in the 90s, like taking anything from what you have, it would fit.
I think we would. I think if we were half our age, we would be, because, oh God, I was trying to think of bands who are relevant, who are like us. There's the Bombay Bicycle Club?
Yeah, that's the one.
Okay, they're quite, you know what I mean? They cross genres, they're funky, but they do other stuff.
Yeah.
And, so I think, as I say, if we were younger, we would probably, get a lot more attention in the media. Yeah.
I just wanted to know, because you're mentioning earlier the idea of having like computers and synths now so readily available. I want to know what you think, I suppose, about this new set of music, which is so easy, so accessible to make, so that everyone can be a musician.
Well, you've still got to be clever. You have to have some amount of creativity, or else you're just rehashing what's already been done. In the old days when synths came out, people like Pete Townsend locked himself away to make Barbara O'Reilly, the Who's big, massive hit. And that was just, like a labour of love for him, I'm sure Chaz sat with his Korgs or whatever you had there and trying out all the sounds and thinking like, wow, this is going to be great when we get it.
I think you're right. And you know what happens? I think in all ages, the music reflects the technology that's available. So like in the 60s, the Hammond organ was the thing. Oh, yeah. And then as we crept towards the 70s, synthesizers, as John just said, crept in. Now what's happening is computers are very sophisticated software, and you can do amazing things, mixing and modulating sound within a computer, like we could not do even back in the 80s. And I think that's why it's getting much more sophisticated. In fact, production is at an all-time high. I'm not sure necessarily always songwriting is, but that's compensated for by the amazing production techniques which are available now through in computers, with the software.
Okay. Yeah, it's true. It's true. It's a lot easier, but you need the talent.
I mean, there is great talent. There is great talent there.
Of course.
But sometimes I when I listen, for example, I was listening to Radio 1 Extra the other day. Now, I love R&B and soul, but what happens is they seem to want to imitate the sounds of each other.
Thank you.
And then you've got the 808 drum machine that Roland made, which became the staple diet of all R&B music. So it became very samey, and it's taken, like people like Kendrick Lamar to step out of that, show that you can use real drums and jazz musicians, and opened it up again. And I'm hoping that's what's going to happen music right across the board, that people aren't restricted in that respect.
We used that 808 on the rhythm track for Hit Me With Your Rhythm Stick, but Charlie the drummer had it as his click instead of a cowbell or something. You had the 808 playing a sort of samba-ish.
Wasn't it the CR78?
It was
the earlier mobile.
on.
Yeah, exactly. It had mambo and cha-cha rhythms on it.
Mambo and cha-cha.